When we hear corporate misconduct, we usually picture executives doing perp walks and billionaires facing massive federal indictments. The reality is much quieter. The actual crisis lives in the daily friction of office life, borrowing an hour of company time here, a tiny misunderstanding there, or a minor mistreatment of a colleague that simply gets brushed aside. To see the scale of this, look at the American workforce. Out of 120 million U.S. workers, nearly half have admitted to some form of workplace or sexual misbehavior on the job. These seemingly insignificant details act as a trap. A single skipped rule rarely stays isolated. It triggers a dangerous, escalating slide into much worse behavior. Unchecked workplace misconduct rarely begins with grand malice. It is a quiet, systemic disease that thrives the moment small ethical lapses become completely normalized. That normalization always starts at the top of the corporate hierarchy. The strongest predictor of ethical behavior in an office is the human personality of its leadership. Employees mirror the tone their bosses set. If a manager rushes protocols or cuts corners to hit a deadline, the team learns exactly how to act, following right in those footsteps. This mirroring becomes dangerous when an organization lacks a formal code of conduct. Without documented values and clear restrictions, the ethical framework holding a team together quickly falls apart. Without that code, employees are far more likely to make mistakes. They have no objective measure of what is correct, leaving them to guess at the boundaries. The initial spark of misconduct is often an accident of the environment. Without a moral compass or a leader guiding the way, the first step down the slope is taken completely in the dark. Once that first minor infraction happens, what actually stops a coworker from reporting it and killing the momentum? The first accelerant is peer pressure. If colleagues are padding expenses or quietly skirting corporate rules, it is quickly reframed as acceptable. Then comes the silencer, fear of retaliation. Even when someone knows a rule is being broken, they ignore the infraction to protect their own job or simply avoid provoking a wrongdoer's wrath. This simple bar chart represents a classic starting point, an employee slightly altering a mileage report. It looks totally insignificant, but unchecked opportunity breeds a habit, and that simple padded report rapidly scales into massive, outright financial fraud. The toxic combination of peer pressure and fear creates a psychological safety net for bad actors. It guarantees that isolated, minor lapses will mature into habitual, destructive corporate fraud. Eventually, the snowball reaches the bottom of the hill. A routine audit or an external complaint finally exposes the accumulated rot. The immediate destruction is financial and legal. Companies face millions in losses, crippling regulatory fines, and legal battles that bleed resources for months or years. The personal stakes are absolute. Executives and employees caught breaking the law face criminal charges and very real jail time. Outside the courtroom, the organization experiences a complete cultural collapse. All of that credibility vanishes overnight, causing customers to abandon sales and publicly badmouth the business to competitors. Internally, general morale dies. Productivity grinds to a complete slowdown, and the remaining employees develop a deep, lingering resentment toward the leadership that failed them. Organizational misconduct signals a terminal systemic failure. Establishing strong, top-down ethical codes and aggressively addressing tiny misunderstandings early is the only way to prevent the total destruction of a business's credibility and capital.